We're on the air. Juanita, we're on the air. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We call to order the regular open meeting of United Woods Mutual Board of Directors, California Nonprofit Mutual Corporation. Today is Tuesday, November 14th. Sorry about that. Okay, I'll try again. I call to order the regular open meeting of United Laguna Woods Mutual Board of Directors, California Nonprofit Mutual Corporation. This is Tuesday, November 14th, 9:30 o'clock in the boardroom. Would everybody please silence their cell phones? Give you a minute. Everybody check your cell phone, make sure it's on vibrate or off or whatever. All right, we have a quorum. We're only missing Mr. Tibbetts, and Director Tibbetts will be with us this afternoon. He's just gotten back from vacation this morning. He's getting on his way right now. So we will continue. We have 10 of our 11. I will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and ask Director Leonard to lead us, please.
Stand, please. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Is Emily here? Don't see her yet. Sometimes she watches it on TV for a while. But we do have our media upstairs. Thank you, guys, for VTV. The approval of the agenda. Before we approve the agenda, I would like to add one more thing to the agenda, and it will be under new business 12B. And this was an emergency addition to the agenda. And that is, we are going to talk about calling a corporate members meeting to talk about the GRF appropriations for the pickleball court. And what's going to happen is we will open this in open. We will table it to closed, where we have our attorney coming in to talk to us about it and to discuss all of the legalities and what's gone on. And then depending on what our board decides to do, we will reconvene in an open meeting after the closed meeting and decide whether or not we're going to call a corporate members meeting. May I have a motion to approve the amended agenda? Yes, Maggie.
I have a request on 11B, the Landscape Committee recommendations. There are a denial first, a denial for number 2, and a denial for number 3.
Right, they are all denials. It did not print that out. Very good, thank you. Okay, so.
I also have a request here on the agenda item 14. What? Sorry about that. Agenda item 14F. Director Hernandez had requested change, and I had taken over that item, so
That's
I'll
correct.
be reporting that.
Yes, you're right, thank you. All right, we will change that to Sally. Thank you. Akbar. Any other changes to the agenda? Hearing none, do I have
Move.
second?
I'll second.
Gary, okay. So it's been moved by Janie, seconded by Gary, that we approve the amended agenda.
There's one who wishes to speak.
Oh, right.
Okay.
On number 7, it will be
Mary's.
Director Stone instead of Director Liberatori. Okay. Because we're still having Granicus problems,
I ask today when we vote that everybody vote by raising your hand. And please, not this. When we're voting, if you're voting either yes, no, or whatever, please leave your hand up until we've got everybody counted. And Cheryl will then put it up on the screen so we see how everybody voted, but it's difficult when people just go, to know whether or not. Yes, Cheryl?
Chuck said that it's working, so let's give it a try.
All right, okay, well,
If you want to do it manually, we will, but
let's do the manual right now.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Raise your hand. Anybody, all those in favor of approving the agenda, please raise your hand and keep it raised. It's unanimous. Thank you. The agenda approved. Agenda is approved. Now, the meeting minutes, we have the minutes from the September 29th meeting that was the counting of the ballots, and the October 17th regular open session. Do I have any additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve both sets of minutes? Maggie?
All right. I so move.
Okay, second?
I so second.
Janie, okay. I have a motion by Maggie, seconded by Janie, to approve both sets of the minutes. All those in favor? Raisa? Thank you, it's unanimous.
Your right or left hand?
I don't care, whatever, you're not writing it. All right, report of the chair. We have a very full meeting today. If you look at the agenda, it doesn't look that much because we don't have a lot of old or new business, unfinished or new business, because we did have the special meeting on the 17th. But a lot of what we did on the 17th, because there was not 30 days between our November and December meetings, is why we had that. So a lot of the final votes will come up at our December meeting. And at the end of our open meeting, I'm going to go over what the future agenda items are. These are all ones that are still up for member comments. Now, when we say that they are deferred for 30 days, we do a first reading. When I say that they are deferred for 30 days for member comments, that's exactly what it means. If any of you out there have a comment on it, you can write to the board in care of the community center here. You can call or you can email. We want to know what your thoughts are. That's what the 30-day member comment is. And that's why we say we don't do anything on the spur of the moment. Everything goes through committee. Committee brings it to the board. The board has first reading, out for member comments, and then we make a decision on it. So if you have any comments on these things that are going to be on the December agenda, please let us know. The other thing on the board, at our regular board meeting, is we have reports. I feel, personally, that these are one of the most important things that we do at board meetings. Because what's done by the board is mostly done in committee. And if you as residents don't know what's happening in the committees, then you don't know what we're working on. It looks like we pull things out of the sky and put them on our agenda, and that is not true. So we have two kinds of reports. We have the committee chairs reporting on what's going on in their committee. Some of the committees did not meet this month, and they will tell you when the next committee meeting is and what some of the issues are that they're working on in their committee. And then we have GRF committee reports, because we have 2 members of United on every single GRF committee. So we do have input, we do have knowledge, and we think it's our responsibility to report back to you as the residents what's happening on those committees. And so one of our 2 people for each of the different committees is going to report on what's on the GRF committee. And that takes a little time at our board meetings, but I feel it's really important to get that information out to you. All right, we'll go to our update from our VMS director, and Mary Stone is doing.
Good morning. I hope everyone had a nice Veterans Day holiday. It was good to have a break after the elections and all the business planning sessions and then finally getting the business plan approved. At this time of year, the VMS board reviews the non-union employee insurance benefits, and our broker and the HR and finance department heads try to pick the best plan for the coming year. Our current carrier was asking for quite an increase in premiums, so we went for another carrier. CEO Brad Hudson also discussed the union contract and possible amendments to meet service level challenges. At the VMS October 18th meeting, Bruce Hartley updated us on changes in custodial services, waste management, fleet safety policy and procedures, and the Transportation Awareness Day, which is scheduled for this Friday, November the 17th at Clubhouse 5. So we encourage those people who aren't familiar with the buses here within the community to go to that Transportation Awareness Day. Landscape Services has recently been incorporated into the General Services Division, and Mr. Hartley has a degree in horticulture and years of landscaping experience and is anxious to maximize operations. Tim Moy, Director of Security and Community Access, presented our award-winning emergency plan at the November 1st meeting. Okay. He discussed issues that will be addressed based on information gathered during the recent Great Shakeout drill. One of the big issues we still have is the need for good neighbor volunteers. We can't wait for an emergency to train you. Please volunteer now to keep your community prepared. IT Director Chuck Holland gave us a brief update on the work order management system that we do away with paperwork orders and monitor in real time. Paperwork orders often fall through the cracks and get lost. The new system should correct that problem. Now I've saved the best for last, our staff. We have such incredible people working for us. I attended the Service Award Luncheon recently and was blown away to see how many longtime employees stayed with us through the transition. 83 were honored at the luncheon. Rafael Navarro has worked here for 45 years. Arturo Ruiz has worked here for 40 years. 10 employees have worked here for 35 years, 5 for 30 years, 4 for 25 years, 5 for 20 years, 22 for 15 years, and 35 have been with us for more than 10 years. I asked one of the recipients why he has been here so long, and he replied that he didn't want to leave his friends and he liked the people. As each went up to the stage to be congratulated, you could see how happy and how proud they were to be recognized for their loyalty to our community. I also had the opportunity to attend the department staff meeting to recognize excellence in service for the third quarter. This boardroom was packed, and each recipient went up to receive their award, and as they did so, the room exploded in cheers and loud applause. Everyone from every department cheered each other. The spirit of our staff is not divided. They recognized the hard work each was giving and supported them. Go up to the second floor of the community center here, and right in front of the elevators, you will see the smiling faces of 11 recipients of the Recognition of Excellence Awards for the third quarter of 2017. With spirit still supercharged, the next day I was honored to join 2 other VMS board members in judging costumes at the staff Halloween party. That was one of the toughest jobs I have ever had. A room full of incredible, creative costumes, but there was only one trophy to hand over to the best team. Each department picked a theme, and each member of the department wore a costume that fit the theme. The imagination and creativity shown by our staff was truly awesome. After much consideration, Director Shinewood Bender and myself reached a decision to give the trophy to the Wizard of Oz team, Resident Services. We had to judge this team in place because they couldn't leave their post for anything more than a group picture. Dedication is a word that is seldom used but should not be overlooked. This department is dedicated to serving you. Christine Spar is the Director of Resident Services and will be giving the department update at the next VMS meeting. That's tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the Willow Room. We hope the United Board will join us for open session to share information and discuss issues of concern. The VMS Board meets on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Wednesday of each month. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. A couple of comments on what Mary said. I want to expand a little on the Transportation Awareness Day on Friday. It is from 10 in the morning until 1. It is not just the buses. They're going to be talking about a lot of other transportation opportunities, transportation that's available in the village and outside the village. If you're going to airports, if you're going to other places that our bus system doesn't go. So there's tables for all different kinds of vendors, and it's very educational for people who want to find out how to get around in the village. Secondly, the disaster preparedness. I don't have it today. I had hoped to, but I don't. But I am speaking on this day's United Update on Friday morning at 8:30, and I hope to have the map then. We have a map, and we definitely will have it for our December meeting to show you of where the neighborhood building captains are in United. And when you look at the map, you can see there's a whole area here that has no building captains. This one is sparse. There's lots of them in this area. So I think visually it will help us to enforce the great job that Andre has done over the last year in getting neighborhood building captains, but to say we still need more, and this is where we're lacking. So tune in Friday morning or our board meeting in December. Okay, our CEO report, Brad?
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, members of the community. I always look forward to chatting with you all once a month. Quite a bit going on in the community right now. As Mary said, October is a busy time with elections and budgets and business plans, and I'm glad it's over. I'm pleased to say the transition of power has been smooth and without incident thus far, and so we move forward together as board, staff, community for the betterment of everyone. And I was happy to be able to participate in some small way in that whole process. I did want to announce, and many of you already know this, but some may not, that our community manager, Ms. Moss, will be departing sometime at the end of February, and so she will be missed greatly, and it's been really my right arm and sometimes left too in many areas, and so we're sad to see her go. As well, Jackie Giacomazzi will be leaving around the same time, and she has been serving the community for in excess of 30 years, large part as our Human Resources Director. And so both of these fine businesswomen are leaving our state, which I think is kind of interesting, but we wish them well.
But I'd like to just add to that, because you leave it that they are leaving us. And while it's true, there are good reasons. I can't tell you how many calls I had after the GRF meeting when you announced that Lori was leaving. What have we done? Why doesn't she like us anymore? What are we going to do? Please make it clear.
I could go a little further.
Lori is getting married.
Lori's getting married. Her family lives.
She is engaged and she is getting married, and we are so happy for her because she is happy. It's not anything that we have done. And Jackie is retiring.
She is.
After
I've been here for a
years,
very
so-
long time and has served us well. Again, I think Lori's family lives
Good reasons.
mostly in Arizona, and so She and her new husband will be joining them there, and I'm just going to leave that for her to explain. But anyway, Laura, would you like to come forward and talk about it? You're okay. Okay, she's good.
Just so everybody knows, it wasn't anything we did or she did.
I'd like to make a motion that Lori cannot leave.
Anyway, we wish them both well in their future endeavors, and we still hope to get 3.5 months worth of service out of each of them. So we are searching aggressively for their, I would say replacements, but it won't be a replacement exactly, a substitute that will turn into a replacement over time with years of dedicated service, which is what it takes, really. A lot of things going on out in the mutual. I want to start, and I shared some of this at GRF and the storm drains. We're anticipating it may be another wet year, and so you will see our guys around pumping out the storm drains, cleaning the storm drains, making sure that everything is ready to go when the rains hits. No matter what kind of a job we do, it won't be good enough. We will miss one or two, and so I really appreciate residents' vigilance in calling us up after the rains start and they see things aren't working, or even beforehand, if they notice maybe something was missed, let us know, and we'll get a crew out there to take care of that immediately. We have a pretty good system here. When maintained properly, it handles rain pretty well, but the maintenance is a key, so please work with us on that so we can protect our village in case we have another year like last year. You might have noticed the change in our carport cleaning program. We're no longer using 16 landscapers with blowers and a big street sweeper. We've got basically 2 guys and 2 sweepers that do this. They can do about 600 to 800 carports a day between the 2 of them. And they do them really, really good. I've gotten more compliments about the clean carports. Now, we're budgeted for 3 or 4 cleanings a year, but these guys, and that was with 16 guys. These 2 guys can do 6 times a year. And so it's a much cleaner operation, much more efficient, and also, while they're in the area, they'll get into some of those nooks and crannies back in some of the cul-de-sacs where leaves blow up and it's hard, you can't get the big sweeper back there, and this is a small vacuum truck with a snorkel on it, and so they can dip that down and clean up some of those areas. So I think you should be seeing cleaner carports, cleaner cul-de-sacs, and just be on the lookout for our notices because they roll through there pretty quick. We've been putting a lot of attention on our moisture intrusion program. It's one of the biggest, in my mind, maybe the biggest problem we have here is when residents experience some sort of water or sewer dysfunction within their manor. Those loud blowers in your manor, and maybe you can't even stay there because it's so loud or so damaged. And how quickly we respond to that, I think, is a measure of the kind of service we're providing. And it's been, in my mind, a very slow process. And on average, taking about 30 to 40 days to completely remediate a manor after a major water or sewer event. And so we put some significant attention to that, brought in some new personnel, and for the last quarter, those times were down to about 9 days, start to finish. And so really, I mean, to me, that's anything that keeps a resident out of their manor ought to be probably our highest priority. And whether it be restoration from fire damage or water damage, that ought to be our highest priority, get somebody back in their manor. And so I want to really thank Kurt and Ernesto for putting some effort on that and really thinking about it, and Velney too, how we can get that done. Your programs, dry rot, epoxy, paint, are full speed. We will meet, I would say, or exceed, but we won't exceed. We'll meet your budgetary targets for those programs in terms of the service level you identified and the funding you identified for it. We've ramped up the epoxy program a little bit by bringing in a second contractor, and so that should be going quite well. Last week, I received permission from the GRF board to begin the gate projects through an advanced funding of 2018 resources, and so we are in the process of selecting the engineering firm who will design each of these 8 installations. The 4 that are within United are remarkably gates 1, 2, 3, and 4. So very easy. It's a little more complicated in third. We jumped around a little bit. We're doing 7, 8, 9, 14 there, so a little bit different. I think 1, 2, and 3 are fairly straightforward. They're individually designed and unique, so they require, it's not like there's one design that will work for all of them. They're all unique installations. Gate 4 is a little trickier because it's an exit only, and it has some other features there. And it may be that functions very similar to how it does now. Given that there's no entry, there's probably no need for gate arms. I think there are some things we could do there to make it better, and we'll probably want to have some discussions with your board and the United community about that before we finalize that design, because it will likely be somewhat changed from what it is now. We're moving aggressively on Clubhouse 1. There are so many deficiencies there, I hesitate to even start listing them. The clubhouse has been, in my opinion, neglected for decades. It needs much work. And so we are conducting an assessment of its structural, mechanical, electrical features to determine, really what is the state of it, what, if we were looking at making major improvements there, does it make sense to move forward or do something more substantial? And so we're having that assessment, and we'll be pleased to hopefully present that to the boards in maybe the first quarter of the year, into the first quarter. And then based on the results of that, GRF will make some determinations and as to how we move forward with the major systems there. Like the most pressing is probably the HVAC. If you're a Clubhouse 1 Fitness Center user, you may have noted that the air conditioning was out a few times this summer, which makes that really unusable. And so, again, before we make a major, hundreds of thousands of dollars investment in fixing that, we want to make sure that the entirety of the facility is really worthy of that kind of investment. So that's what we're doing there, and we look forward to completing that and then engaging the community and the boards on the result of that, and then laying out a plan to move forward. Waste management. We continue to have big problems with residents, contractors, others placing things around the dumpsters, couches, TVs, construction materials. If you recall, you can do that on the third Saturday of the month, and Waste Management will come by at no additional charge to the village and pick that stuff up. If you put that material down there any other time other than the third Saturday of the month, then I have to send folks out there to pick it up and to haul it up to maintenance headquarters, and then we get charged for the disposal of that. If Waste Management picks it up on the third Saturday, it's free. They pick it up from a big dumpster up in maintenance, that's extra charge. So I just encourage residents, contractors, others, please don't put things down around the dumpsters or in the dumpsters that don't belong there. And the most common examples are mattresses, TVs, construction material. I think there's probably other things that you're all aware of, but those are the biggies. And so if you can wait till the third Saturday, or better yet, if you call here to Resident Services, we'll schedule an in-home pickup, and they'll come right into your manor and pick it up for you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to drag it down the stairs and throw it out by the dumpster. No, they'll come right in your home and remove it for you. So I encourage everyone to take advantage of that service. It's available a couple of times a year per manor, and so please give us a call at Resident Services. We'll schedule it for you. No need for you to call Waste Management and wait on hold. Call us. We'll take care of it on your behalf. And then lastly, I did want to thank Andre and this board and the community for all their work in emergency preparedness. I know Tim and his team and a number of board members have put a lot of effort there. it's really just a first step. We have sort of a skeletal plan of what we ought to do, and now we need to put some meat on that in terms of community representation, our captains, neighborhood captains, building captains, others who would participate in this effort. And then I think a big part of that too, which we haven't discussed a lot, is moving security dispatch here to this building, which is the Emergency Operations Center. And so that will get all of our communication sort of in one spot. And we are moving pretty aggressively on that as well. And so I think within the next several months, you'll see all those things kind of come together into to making this building really our kind of disaster preparedness and emergency operations hub for the community. So again, I just want to thank everyone who's participated in that. It's not like most things, well, the plan's done, put it on the shelf, we'll dig it out if there's an emergency. No, it's an ongoing effort in preparedness, public information, coordination, communication. And so I just thank everyone who participated and ask you to stick with us. We'll be communicating with you some more in terms of how we move forward from here. So thank you, everyone. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Brad. Let's see, we're going to go now to number 9, agenda item number 9, which is our open forum. And this is where the people who take the time to come to our meeting have a chance to speak. I hope that you have filled out a speaker card and given it to Cheryl, and we will call you up by name so that you don't have to stand in line and wait. You get 3 minutes to speak, and you will be timed, and there's a timer on the lectern that will show you how much more time you have. And it also shows the people in the audience how long you've been speaking. And it's for items that basically are not on the agenda. If there's something on the agenda, and that does not include our committee reports, we don't make comments to that. So there's no really unfinished business. There's only one new business. So almost anything else you may speak on. We want to hear your thoughts and suggestions or comments or whatever. So Cheryl, who do we have for our member comments?
Okay, our first speaker is Chris Collins, and after Chris will be Alison Matson.
Thank you.
Chris Collins, 3306Q. Good morning. Today I'm here to give an update on another aspect of work being done by the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village on behalf of village residents. November is National Family Caregivers Month, and caring for a senior with Alzheimer's can be nonstop. The Laguna Woods Village Foundation applauds the efforts of the local caregivers and provides financial support of village seniors who utilize the services of the South County Adult Day Services located on El Toro Road. I want to share an example of how qualified residents of Laguna Woods are being assisted by financial support from the foundation. Recently, on a Friday afternoon, the participants at South County Adult Day Services, which is, the acronym is SCADS, gathered around the common area for a music session, which is a weekly event in which local guest musicians perform and the center's members sing along. For Laguna Woods residents Bob Tomey and his wife and caregiver Diana, this is their favorite day of the week at the center. Sometimes it's just old music, but it's always uplifting and makes me feel good, said Diana, who occasionally joins her husband at SCADS when she has free time. When Bob's health began to decline recently, Diana realized that she desperately needed more help to take care of her husband. She discovered SCADS through her peers at a caregivers group in Laguna Woods. Bob now attends SCADS 3 times a week. The center gives him the socialization that he loves and the break from caregiving that Diana needs. This is the next best thing to being in a care facility, said Diana. They give the best medical attention, the sociability, everything you could want. South County Adult Day Services offers engaging, creative activities, exercise, physical and occupational therapy programs, and personalized and attentive care for members like Bob. The center provides careful supervision of its members so that family caregivers like Diana can rest assured knowing that their loved ones are being taken well care of. If his blood sugar is too high or too low, they call me and make me aware, or they call the doctor. They take care of him so well, better than I could. They are so knowledgeable, raved Diana about SCAD's staff's medical expertise and professionalism. I think this place is very deserving of attention. A lot of people don't know about it. To learn more about South County Adult Day Services and the financial assistance provided by the foundation, or to schedule a tour, please contact 949-855-9444. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Okay.
Okay, next up is Alison Matson, and after Allison will be Lou Scogan.
Good morning, United Mutual Board, President Skillman, First Vice President Dorrell, and other distinguished directors. I have been planning a renovation on my Cadiz unit since April 2016. I finally began the process last month. On October 11th, 2017, I went to Property Services to confirm a permit on the removal of a patio cover and to check on possible appliance upgrades. I was informed I was eligible to acquire a new built-in oven, cooktop, and dishwasher if my contractor could extend the space where my 18-inch dishwasher was in place. I was given 3 separate forms, one of which, germane to what I'm speaking of, was this one. I will include it in a letter that I'm giving you, and was instructed to sign the forms. I was also given comp sheets that showed the products, model numbers, etc. This is the comp sheet that I was given. When I learned the oven only came in black, I told them that I would reconsider my white color option and went ahead and requested the 3 units and filled out 3 forms. They informed me I could receive a $547.56 reimbursement if I purchased and installed a white one, which I did end up doing, and this is the picture of the oven that I purchased. In the meantime, I scoured various online sites for affordable options, along with calling Sears, Penny's, and Saddleback Appliance. I found one for $755, the lowest cost by far at Best Buy, and proceeded to order it on October 26, 2017. When I discovered I couldn't make the 24-inch dishwasher work, I called Property Services at least twice and canceled both it and the oven. I called to confirm the date of delivery, along with the pickup of the old oven and the cooktop, which we had arranged for October 11th, 2017, or we had set in place when I arrived here October 11th. No one alerted me of any problems or changes in plans. Just a few hours before my cooktop was to be delivered, November 6, 2017, Bruce from Property Service called saying the delivery foreman had found in his backlog that I had a non-mutual oven. Here is a photo of my oven. It is exactly like the ones that are in the units. This meant they could not pick up the old one, nor would they reimburse me for the new one. I find that quite puzzling since it looks exactly like the new one I ordered, except it's an older model and ivory in color. Plus, my contractor had already removed the old one to leave on the patio for pickup. I feel that I was totally misled. I am out $755 plus money for hauling the old oven away. It is too late to return it. Thus, I am asking for the initial reimbursement amount I was promised. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Alison Matson, 39D.
Thank you, Allison. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Lou Scogan, and after Lou is Leland Chelsea.
Good morning. First of all, I want to thank all of you for giving up your time, your efforts for all of us. And I'm so happy to have VMS and a brand new CEO who seems to be right on top of everything here. But anyways, things are getting better in this village, I see, but nothing is ever perfect. I had a problem October 18. While taking a shower, my hot water pipe burst. And I got out of the shower fast. I turned off the faucet, but water was coming out on the floor. So I grabbed the phone and I called the emergency number I had for the village. I was transferred to Property Services. They put me on hold for several minutes. All the while, water was gushing out on the floor and going downstairs. I'm on the second floor. Anyways, finally I got somebody, and I said, this is an emergency. I got water gushing out, the pipe burst. She said, I'll send a plumber right away. So in the meantime, the lady downstairs was panicking because water was coming down on her. And waited about 5-10 minutes, and nobody showed up. So I finally dialed 911, and the fire department came and shut off the water. Everybody in the building was trying to help. Nobody knew where the water shutoff was. So that's a problem. And I don't know about this emergency service that we have. Should we always call 911 if we have that type of emergency? Or can anything be done so that somebody can come over and shut the water? And we couldn't find the water shut off anywhere. So the water was gushing and gushing. Ended up spending 4 days in a hotel because of the damage. I do applaud the people that, the water, whatever you call it, that came with all those big fans to dry up. They were there right away that same day. But the plumbers didn't show up for 2 hours. If I had waited on the plumbers, the whole building would have washed away. So I don't know what can be done about this. It seems to be a problem that's going to be continuing in our old units because the units are 50 years old and those pipes are bursting. So anyway, right now my hallway, I lost all the flooring. I'm down to cement. They had to take off the mastic, had to have that special team come in to remove that mastic, where they had to seal off the hallway. And when they sealed it off, when they pulled off the tape, they pulled off the paint too. So now I need a paint job and I need a new floor. And I was wondering, does United take care of any of, getting me the basic flooring for the hallway or painting or touching up or whatever?
Okay, your time is up, and I can only tell you that after everybody speaks, we will answer each of them. Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Leland Chesley.
Chesley.
Sorry.
I have that. Leland Chesley, 162A. I'm here to speak on behalf of one of the neighbors. He asked me if I would come, Mohsen Asadi, regarding his property at 765, the Calle Aragon, Unit A. And 2014 remodeled that and with a permit, and at the same time added enclosed a patio without a permit. 765A, that's Calle Aragon. So they. Is that called 11A5? Right, yeah. Yes, I believe that's it. They sent a letter of chronology since they went to sell the unit in earlier this year. They had the standard inspection and found that there was no permit, and there was windows that had been resized, and so on the first inspection report there were quite a few items that needed to be taken care of or money be held out for the sale. Then he was told that it could not be sold without the permit or variance. They took it off the market for selling it and started to rent it in order to go through that variance process and the permit process. They found a tenant, but then the housing department said, no, it cannot be leased at this time. There was a consideration that maybe the room addition, which was built according to the standard plan, but without a permit at that time, would not be safe. Inspection department suggested that they get an inspection by the city. Went to the city said we cannot inspect it without a permit. Went back to the inspection department. The inspection department said, if you have an engineer certify that it's safe, we'll recommend that you be able to lease it until this is resolved. So I got somebody from the city of Laguna Niguel, an engineer, come and inspect it and indicated that it was safe to occupy. And then here we are where it looks like he's in the process of trying to get a variance for something. Part of the construction project that had the permit really needs a variance because the windows have been changed on the size of the exterior. And the patio itself, patio enclosure, really is a standard plan that should simply require a permit. It's trying to get the permit after the fact. And then most important, be able to now lease the property, because they said no. First they said, yes, you can lease it, and then found a tenant. And then they said, no, you cannot lease it. So here we are again, twice with two different tenants not being able to lease it. So asking for a permit and permission to lease it or to get a city inspection and to accept the resized windows as per page 6 on the 56-page inspection report from the inspection department. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, your time is up. Our next speaker.
Our next speaker is Nassarin, and after Nassarin is Maxine McIntosh.
Board members, good morning. My name is Haas Tabrizi. I'm representing my mother, Nazrin Mojibi. She's handicapped, so she can't come up here, and she also has asthma. About 3-4 months ago, some very nice landscaping was installed in front of our house, and as a result of that, one of our entrances is now largely inaccessible. So because of that, we asked for a railing to be put in by the second one through the sliding door. And I think originally it was requested, and subsequently that request was rescinded. So I'm here to see if we could go ahead and put a small railing in order for her to be able to access her home. And again, the request is because of new landscaping that was put in, and it's made it impossible for her to access the home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Maxine McIntosh, and after Maxine is Parinza.
Good morning. Maxine McIntosh, 68C, facing my favorite board. First of all, I want to ask Brad, when the TVs start getting dumped next year, as a lot of the old ones will, do you want them out on the third Saturday of the month, or do you want special calls on those? And then I was glad to hear that this board is taking a solid look at the pickleball contract. You know, clear back to when Clubhouse 7 was being built. I remember every project I recall went over budget, went over the contract, sometimes $20,000, sometimes $2 million. And as I also recall, I won't say all of them because I'm not positive, but I'll bet it was all of them, had a contingency fund of another 10% so that they would spend that additional 10% before they had to come back to the board for more money. And even remember the redecorating of this room called for additional funds, a request from the board to approve additional funding to finish it the right way it needed to be done. There just wasn't enough money in the original plan for it. So I'm glad you're taking another look at that. I'd like to speak today about getting United involved in really supporting the community with what's happening in plans for Clubhouse 3. Everyone I've asked when I've said, how do you like the new plans for Clubhouse 3? No one likes them that I've spoken to. A lot of people here in United. Most of them haven't heard of it. And this is a historical thing. That's something new that might be real costly. Sometimes boards don't talk about it a lot. They just go ahead with it. And most people haven't even heard that they would entirely lose their clubhouse and they would have a big performing arts center instead. And I really hope you'll support United in calming that plan down, in keeping those meeting rooms. We've had Brad tell us so many times, you might not get a meeting room a year from now if you go in to request it right now. The meeting rooms are booked up way, way, way in advance throughout the entire village. So to take 3 more away from all these committees, I went through 17 globes, selected at random. I have the pages here, added them up, and the average was 23 different meetings every week held in that building of clubs, a variety of clubs, 23, including I can't say it now all of a sudden, our best charity that we have here in the village, the
Foundation.
whatever.
Foundation?
Anyhow, social services, and all kinds of church clubs, all kinds of recreation clubs, and I really hope you will support the fact that most of the people in United will probably say, I don't want to lose that. Where will those clubs go? Will we be forced out? You're pretty good at remembering that we're first and foremost a community with nice amenities.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Parinaz.
Hello, my name is Parinaz Azania. My manner is 400N. Thank you, everybody. I have 2 requests. One is I moved here almost 7-8 months ago, and downstairs, I'm in 2-story condo. I'm upstairs. Downstairs is vacant, and I heard 12 years is vacant. And we are living with mousetrap, we are living with ants, with anything you name it. I asked the resident, they says, once a year we are allowed to go inside and see what's going on, not more than that. And I want you to take care of it, please. And all the neighbors, I have witnessed them. They says we come and clean the patio because it's so dirty. Nobody walk in, nobody come and do anything in it. Once a year is not enough. We don't feel safe, healthy. I even have, I'm sorry, I don't want to show you. In a plastic, I have mousetrap that my neighbor grab it. Every day she says I have to clean up. Okay, this is the one of them. And then my carport, when I bought this condo, they charged the seller to clean the carport from oil or something. I moved in March of 2017. In May 2017, residents claim, they come and clean it. And I have a picture, I send it to them, like 8 pictures, and I email them. It's really worse than before. Before was maybe, I even don't know, a little spots of oil. But right now it's white, rustic, dirty, it's very bad. And I asked them, they says, we couldn't do it because should be replace the cement or something, and that's cost the money. We couldn't do that. And they charged the seller $250 or $300. I don't care. They have to know it's not possible to do that with $250. They have to charge the seller more. And right now, from that moment up now, I never park there because I don't want to really walk to my storage from that dirt. Okay, it's very ugly. This is my 2 requests. And the third one, I already signed the paper for landscape additional. I give it to resident to do because our site is just 2 sides of grass and is missing and is ugly. No plant, no flower, nothing. We are the only one is vacant, nothing is there. And I asked, they says you have to fill the form for landscape additional, and I did it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Our next.
Next up is Roberta Burke, and after Roberta will be Jack Arnold.
Yes, I just have a few questions and possibly comments, some of which come from Brad's report, and I wonder if it could be answered here. Regarding the water intrusion situation and the additional people, I'm wondering, and it wasn't really clear, whether it's Do Right who hired additional people, whether we don't have Do Right and we have a new company, or whether the additional people belong to our staff. Because having had a couple of experiences not too long ago, I find that the equipment that Do Right has is very, very antiquated. They have a couple of new machines, but the rest are very old, and it takes a very long time for them to accomplish, like double the amount of time to accomplish the job they do. It cost me $600. I think it should have been half the amount of time. And you have to do many units, and it is an advantage for it to take a long time in terms of due rights needs. So I think that that's something that should be cleared up. As far as the trash, not trash, but home goods being put outside, one of the situations that I find in my area, and we just had a really big incident, which is I think why Brad may have discussed it, is that family members come and don't have really any understanding of what to do with all of this stuff. And so what they do when someone passes away and the house is going to be empty is they take it all. We just had 3 units that happened to, and they put it in the laundry room if they think people are going to take it, or whatever else they put out at the trash. And unfortunately, it usually happens over weekends, which is really upsetting because people come and visit this community on the weekends, and possible buyers and buyers who are looking, and it looks horrendous. So I would like to see a sign put up in all the laundry rooms that only reading materials can be left there. And I really don't know how you could address the situation. I don't know when you find out when there's a family that's going to be doing that. But that is one of the bigger problems. And the other issue that I really think needs an update today and possibly anytime you have the opportunity. The landscapes, I come here and I know basically what the problems are with landscape. But I'm hearing from, even from Third, people are really, really disgusted with the way things look. And so if somebody could explain today for those who are listening, and every opportunity you have until we're totally caught up, I think that might be a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberta. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Jack Arnold, and after Jack is Rhonda Lindner.
Yes, I'm Jack Arnold, 404D, and I have a couple of questions. One is, at the end of carport 312, there is a bottle brush tree and a sidewalk that ends running into the carport. And I've talked to several people that have golf carts parked in their carport because they don't have any place else to put them. And they said that if we could have that end changed over to where we would have 3 or 4 parking spots for golf carts, that they would be more than willing to park their golf carts on the outside, freeing up spots for their cars. Some of them have 2 cars parking in the cul-de-sac at this time, and the car and their golf cart inside the carport. And if we did, we could free up that many carport parking areas. Also, what do we need to do to request having our cul-de-sac lined off with parking spots? The carport, I think it's 47 just above us, and we're 48, has theirs lined off so cars know where they can park and how much space they have to park in. And if we could do that, that would help, because there are periods of times where we have little or no parking in the cul-de-sac, and if you have visitors coming, or et cetera, there's no place for them to stop or park. And also, one other thing that I wanted to mention is the continued problems at Gate 3 with residents coming through the visitors parking drive-through. I don't know if you use it very often. I've been hit almost 3 times going through the resident spot while another resident drives through the visitors in a very speedy way, and if you don't stop, they're going to hit you. And I think that something needs to be done with the ambassadors stopping them, or whatever has been recommended that take place. I hate to have a bunch of accidents that would be happening from that spot. They even drive through the bus lanes. So if that could be taken care of, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Our last speaker is Rhoda Lindner.
Good morning. I am Rhoda Lindner, 2013C. I just wanted to be sure with regard to Unit 765A that the gentleman talked about earlier, the La Corona, that you realized that it was on the consent calendar, item 11A5.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is that all the residents?
That concludes our residents.
All right. I'll start over on my right this time, just with director comments, if you want to talk to any of the issues that were brought up by members.
So to Jack, regarding Gate 3, I use that gate all the time. It's closest to my unit, and I agree with your observations. The gates are going to be put in this year, coming in gates 1, 2, 3, and 4, the automatic arms. So that should eliminate that situation. I made previous inquiries about would there be something that we might be able to do to mitigate it in the interim. However, with the age of our ambassadors at the gates, currently, they don't really have the facility to be able to keep a cone where the visitors are supposed to come through and then remove the cone to let a car go by and then back and forth. So it is what it is until, I guess, the gate arms get up, and Brad's going to take care of all of our gates in United this coming year.
Thank you. Raisa, do you have any comments? Okay. Gary? None? Maggie?
Nothing.
Not at this time? Okay. Janie?
Yes.
Okay. Pat?
Yes, I have a couple of comments. First of all, for Maxine. Maxine, thank you very much for reminding us about the contingencies whenever a contract is signed, because this is going to be very important, and we will be taking it up later on today. Thank you for reminding us. Then, as far as Lou Scogan was concerned, microphone.
Yeah, put your mic on.
Oh, did you hear me in the first one about Maxine, or shall I repeat it? Okay. Now, as far as Lou Scogan is concerned, yes, Lou, that was a good comment, and I would like to request from Brad that he puts in to the training for plumbers and plumbers' assistants and anybody else, that they learn where the turnoff valves are for all the water. That should be fairly straightforward. I would think that each building would have a certain place, and that as long as it was the same building, it probably would be in the same place in each of those buildings. So that was a very good idea, and I'm sure Brad will be looking into that for us. Thank you.
Andre, do you have any comments?
I heard a lot of comments about issues that the residents running into. I don't think I can answer most of the questions because those are really execution side. The board is responsible for giving directions. As far as executions, that's for VMS stuff, and that's probably more appropriate to go to each individual committees, MNC committees, landscape committees. We have more staffs in there. They are more knowledgeable about these issues and help out the equipment, old equipment, and that kind of thing. That's their decision, and we can help them out, but we are not in the position to answer those questions because that's their responsibility. But as far as Maxine mentioned, that pickleball over budget, and what if it's extra, that supplemental budget, we need to concern on that. And the clubhouse 3, we need to, how do we accommodate everybody instead of just pit one group against the other? That's what we need to really need to consider, and maybe what we need to do is to come up with some kind of plan to build extra space That way, we can start moving certain facilities into the new space and come up with that. And also, it involves some budgeting, whether we should have the United, the foundation issue, the sewage pipe issues first before those changes that we need to consider. And I believe that's the issue that we're going to talk about later today. Thank you very much.
Cash, do you have any comments?
I have a couple of comments. I do appreciate Chris Collins coming in and talking about Laguna Woods Foundation all the time. It's very nice of her to pursue her efforts. Also, I would like to see more people occupy the empty chairs. This is a request for everybody who's listening and who is not listening and who will be listening in the evening. Come on down and express your opinions, express your views, and bring your troubles, because that's where we are. And most of these issues are serious issues, like the water emergency turn-off valve. I think Brad is taking notes. He will take care of it. We know he has been a good organizer and a manager for our village, and he has completed the transition successfully. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cash. Manuel?
I have a comment on two items that were brought up today. One of them has to do with the problem we have with the shutoff valves. I know I live in a Valencia unit, and if I need to have any kind of plumbing work done, you have to call the administration building to have them come out and turn off the shutoff valves. So I know that is a very common problem in all of the buildings. So the only suggestion I have is I hope that sometime in the near future, we'll be able to take a look at that and see if maybe we can start replacing some of these a building at a time so that we don't have that problem continue to exist. The other thing I wanted to address were some of your comments regarding landscaping. I think moving that under the department that Bruce handles, I think it's been a very positive move. I know at my unit, the weekly maintenance service is still not what I would like, and I'm sure that's true, but I think we have to give it time. And I didn't think I'd ever hear myself saying that, but I think they're going to try to do the best thing they can as soon as they can. We just have to be patient and try to give them time. Thank you.
Thank you. Brad?
Thank you. I want to comment on a couple of things, starting with Do Right. We no longer use Do Right. They're not a contractor in the village. And we have 4 new contractors that we're using. So we have some pretty good comparisons. It's no longer an exclusive arrangement. We have multiple companies. We can compare costs and energy usage and all those sorts of things of the various equipment they bring to the table. And again, I want to thank Kurt and Velney for taking care of that. It's been long overdue. I wanted to talk a little bit about the plumbing issue. We added, it's probably been a year or so now, weekend plumbing crew. So we have plumbers here, I think it's something like 7 to 7 on weekends. Of course, no one ever has a plumbing leak during the day for some reason. I don't know why that is. But typically, we would want you to call security dispatch when you have an emergency plumbing leak like that, and then most of the security guys know where these cutoff valves are because they're out there in the middle of the night. They're the first ones on the scene when we're calling a plumber in, so they know. But also, if it's during normal hours or during daytime hours on the weekend, there's plumbers on site who should come out. The fact that they weren't dispatched properly is concerning. And I will take that up with Chris and Chief Moy to find out why that's so, because we have expanded those hours specifically to address that issue. But I am glad that you got a rapid response on the moisture intrusion. And I know you talked to Kurt, and hopefully you'll get your issue resolved with respect to your flooring. So thank you. And then I did want to add one last thing on the waste management, the pickup of the items. I know many residents put those items out with the intent of helping other, maybe less fortunate residents, and that's certainly commendable. But I wanted to let you know, when you do call for the in-home manner pickup, Waste Management takes those items to Goodwill, and they are provided to the needy at a very low price without the burden of providing a kind of a detriment to our community in terms of aesthetics. So I would ask all of you out there who have the donative spirit to please call Resident Services, let us schedule a pickup of your items, and then they will be made available to Goodwill, who can then make them available to the needy. So I just offer that as another option. And then Ms. Matson, I think Kurt's here to chat with you as well, so we can hopefully, Kurt, raise your hand there, so we can hopefully address your issue as well. I'm sorry you were dissatisfied with the service.
Okay, I just have a couple of comments. To our residents out there, United does a lot, but I feel that it's your responsibility when you move into a building to know where your water shutoff valve is. It's not a big deal. There's one usually for every building. There are a couple of the largers that may there. But know where it is in case you need to get to it before you can get service out to you. Secondly, put in your cell phones, put up on the wall, know the security dispatch number. A lot of people don't realize that the gate security number is not security dispatch, and it's great to call resident services, but if you have a real emergency, you need to call security dispatch, and that number should be prominent in your phone or on your wall or wherever so that you know it when you have an emergency and can get there right away. Jack, it's not just Gate 3. We have arms at Gate 5, but we have people that through. There are 3 lanes. There's a visitor lane and 2 resident lanes. If you go through the middle resident lane, you'd better look left and right to see if the other gate arm opens and somebody's coming in, particularly to the resident to your left who has the RFID, and it opens automatically. The gate guards, the ambassadors are pretty good with the visitor ones about if there's a car in the resident letting it go first, but it's definitely, it's just something we all need to be aware of. When you go through those gates, whether they have the gate arms or not, look both ways. Make sure that you are not the only car, that you are the only car going through and there's not somebody else. I think when we get the changes done to the Gate 3, that will help. But again, as I say, at Gate 5, we have the gate arms, and we still have a problem of people crossing in front of each other. Lastly, Maxine, we're not taking away everything at the Performing Arts Center, and of course, nothing is finalized yet. So we are looking at all of these things and getting the resident. The only meeting room that really is being taken away is Dining Room 2. Dining Room 1 is remaining, and we are in the process of finding a place for the billiard room, which is going to be bigger and better and everything, and that will not close down until we get the new billiard room there. Those are the meeting rooms that we have. There's a little conference room that has a few things that go on in it. It hasn't been decided whether that will go or stay. That's in the middle of the office area. But we're not taking away everything. But remember, it is now called and supposed to be a performing arts center. Now, I agree with you. It's our responsibility as a board and GRF's responsibility to try to make sure we have as many meeting rooms as are needed by our residents. And some of that is a little self-policing. When you have a resident that comes in and requests a room every week for 52 weeks of the year, that ties it up for other people that might want to use it. It's not like a club that meets once a month. We have some people that reserve them 2 and 3 times a year for Bible studies, book clubs, something like that, and they have them 2 or 3 times a week. That's what ties up a lot of our rooms, and that's what CAC is looking at. But I don't think the big issue is cutting out a lot of rooms at Clubhouse 3, my opinion. Okay, let's go on. We've got 10. Let's go on to 11, which is our consent calendar. Oh, no, I did mean to speak to Leland. Leland, as was mentioned at the beginning, this has gone through Architectural Review Committee, not once but twice. The decision was made for a number of different reasons. We have the letter, and we will look at that. I hope that we are going to go ahead and do that on the consent calendar, but your neighbor has, as does any of our residents, if they don't like the decision that was made in a committee and confirmed by the board, appeal it. And then they will have a second chance to look at it again. But it was looked at thoroughly, because I'm in those meetings. And there's a reason. I'm sorry, it's not a dialogue. So all I'm asking is that you tell your neighbor if he has a problem and he doesn't like the decision that's made by the board, that he needs to appeal it. Hey, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar? Andre, a second? Gary, okay. It's been moved by Andre and seconded by Gary that the consent calendar be approved. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Excuse me, you have a motion on the floor. And I have
Oh,
a
I'm
question.
sorry, Mary, I did not see you step up there.
The agenda packet does not tell us whether these items are approved or denied. So if you could tell us
Okay.
you changed it for the landscape, but you did not
Right.
do anything with the architect.
Well, with the architectural control, if they're all approved unless it says denial. Number 5 specifically says denial. Otherwise, they're approved. But you have a good point, and we will ask in future packages that be noticed on the agenda so that you know what you're voting for. Okay, motion by Andre, seconded by Gary. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar?
I'm abstaining because my unit is in this one.
Okay, very good. Appreciate that. All right. So it's 9 to 0 to 1. All right. We're on to number 12, unfinished business. And the only unfinished business we have, and let me get out my little cheat sheet here. The agenda item, which is 12B, which is to consider calling a corporate members meeting regarding the pickleball court, requires immediate attention and possible action by the board, and that's why it has come to the board's attention, that a contract was signed by GRF without prior notice to the board, and therefore this matter could not have been reasonably foreseen by the board to put on our agenda when it was originally done. So this agenda item, we will table
13B or 12?
12B, unfinished, oh, I'm sorry, you're right, it's 13B,
Right.
it's new business. I wrote it down wrong, I jumped, you're so right. Thank you, Maggie, for keeping me honest there. So there's nothing under 12 at all, there's no unfinished business. And this call for a corporate members meeting will be 13B, and we'll go back to A in just a minute. So what we're doing in 13A, I am asking to table this motion, this ID, 13B, until after our closed session, when we will have an opportunity with legal counsel to review the contract, to know what we're talking about, to have more information from staff, and to be able to look at it a little bit better. We will then reconvene in open session after our closed session in order to do whatever the board decides to do in the closed session. We will not actually do it in closed session. But we don't want to put it off until December because then there's another 30 days and another, anyway, there, so. Jamie?
I make a motion that we table this and take it to closed session, and then, once a decision is made, bring it back to open session.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? Pat? All right, I have a motion by Janie and seconded by Pat that item 13B, the call for a corporate members meeting on the pickleball issue, be tabled until after our closed session. Any more discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote for that motion. All those in favor? Okay, it is unanimous. All right, now we'll go back to 13A to entertain a motion to approve committee assignments. We do this all the time. Committees come and, or committee assignments come and go depending on how people feel about it, whether they're enjoying it, whether they're doing their jobs on it. There's a lot of different things. And so initially, the president, myself, when we get a new board, assigns people, committee chairs, and people to committees. And this is the first go-around for that. There's 13. Maggie, would you read that for us, please?
Yes. This is pursuant to Article 8 of our bylaws, committees. It has a Section 1 on committees, and it has Section 2 on appointment to committees. So if you are unfamiliar with the committee appointment process, please look in the bylaws, Article 8. All right. Resolution 0117XXX, United Laguna Woods Mutual Committee Appointments. Resolved November 14, 2017, that the following persons are hereby appointed to serve the corporation in the following capacities. Architectural Control and Standards, Janie Durrell, Chair, Don Tibbetts, Co-Chair, Cash Akrakar, Reza Bastani. Business Planning, Juanita Skillman, Chair, Gary Morrison, Co-Chair, Pat English, Andre Torn. Communications Committee, Maggie Blackwell, Chair, Juanita Skillman, Alternate. Executive Members Hearing Committee, Juanita Skillman, Chair, Janie Durrell, Co-Chair, Cash Akrakar, Steve Leonard. Finance Committee, Gary Morrison, Chair, Pat English, Steve Leonard, Juanita Skillman. Governing Documents Review Committee, Juanita Skillman, Chair, Maggie Blackwell, Co-Chair, Steve Leonard, Gary Morrison. Laguna Woods Village Traffic Hearings, Cash Akrakar, Rotating Chair. Landscape Committee, Maggie Blackwell, Chair, Manuel Armendariz, Pat English. Maintenance and Construction Committee, Don Tibbetts, Chair, Steve Leonard, Co-Chair, Reza Bastani, Janie Durrell, Gary Morrison. New Resident Orientation per rotation list. That means one director each time. Resident Advisory Committee, Don Tibbetts, Chair, Cash Akrakar, Co-Chair, Andre Torn. Resolve further Resolution 011755, adopted May 9, 2017, is hereby superseded and canceled. Resolve further, the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution.
Do you move it?
I so move this resolution. I did not read the advisors, but they are listed here.
Okay, and would you go on to the next page to the Golden Rain Committee assignments? And I do have to put a caveat in there. We assigned our members to these GRF committees, not knowing who the chairs were going to be. These committees have not been fully formed by GRF. So there may be changes at our December meeting when we see how these committees are structured. But for now.
So we're approving both together,
Yes.
not singly? Okay. Resolution 0117XX, Golden Rain Foundation Committee appointments. Resolved November 14, 2017, that in compliance with Article 7, Section 7.3 of the Golden Rain Foundation bylaws, adopted September 29, 2014, the following persons are hereby appointed to serve on the committees of the Golden Rain Foundation. Business Planning, Gary Morrison, Juanita Skillman. Community Activities, Janie Durrell, Andre Torn. Finance, Gary Morrison, Juanita Skillman. Landscape Committee, Manuel Armendariz, Maggie Blackwell. Maintenance and Construction, Steve Leonard, Don Tibbetts. Media and Communications Committee, Maggie Blackwell and Steve Leonard. Mobility and Vehicles Committee, Cash Akrakar, Reza Bastani. PAC Task Force, Steve Leonard, Juanita Skillman. Security and Community Access, Pat English, Don Tibbetts. Town hall meetings as needed. Resolved further that Resolution 01-1756, adopted May 9, 2017, is hereby superseded and canceled. Resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I so move.
Okay, do I have a second for the committee assignments? Janie? Any discussion? Yes, Pat?
Yes, I was supposed to be on the M&C committee, not the landscape committee.
All right, we'll talk about that in closed. Basically, Gary, as treasurer, was put on that in your place.
Well,
There's
it
only
doesn't
5
matter whether
members.
Gary's put on there in my place or not. I still should be allowed to be on there. I mean, you've got a lot of people duplicating architectural and maintenance and construction.
Well, architectural was a subpart of maintenance and construction. It was formed as a separate committee to take some of the burden off maintenance and construction, but the same people basically interact, and that's why they are on both committees. But we can discuss this further in
Yeah, because I
closed
think,
committee, and as I say, corrections and changes can be made at the next one.
I think as the senior member on this committee, on this board, that I should be entitled to, and you did tell me before that I would be on the M&C. So to switch me to landscaping is, forget it.
Okay, thank you. Andre?
I can see that Juanita, our president, has really taken on a lot of responsibilities. If you count the whole assignment she's getting involved, she has 8 committee involvement and 3 of them chair or something like that. So I really compliment Juanita's taking on all these responsibilities that will leave us, like for example, I only have 3 assignments, so I will have a lot of free times talking to the residents and get involved with bringing all the feedbacks from the residents. And so, and also I have my business card here. If anybody's interested in talking to me, reporting any issues, please provide those information to me. And also in this case, we have Steve, as about 7 committees, and I commend people that involve so much, contribute so much to the committee and help us out, taking on all these responsibilities. Thank you very much.
Any other comments? Yes. Cash?
I was on security and community access before, and I've been removed. I mean, if Pat wants to have some more time or whatever, I don't mind.
She wants specifically M&C.
Yeah, specifically.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, I have a motion by Maggie, seconded by Janie, to approve.
President Skillman?
Yes.
We do have a request to
Oh.
speak on this item.
Thank you.
Mary Stone, 356C. My question was, why weren't the non-voting advisors mentioned during the resolution? Was there a specific reason for, admitting them?
No.
Because they
No.
are part of the resolution, so.
Okay, very good. Maggie, let's go back and say who
Okay.
the non-member advisors are.
Okay. Architecture Control Standards Committee, Non-voting advisors, Michael Moraine, Kay Anderson. Let's see. Finance Committee, non-voting advisor, Alan Dickinson. Governing Documents, non-voting advisors, Bevan Strom, Mary Stone. Landscape Committee, non-voting advisor, Pam Grunke. Maintenance and Construction Committee, non-voting advisor, Del Ing. And Resident Advisory Committee, non-voting advisors, Kay Anderson, Nancy Lannon. Thank you.
Okay. And if you'll notice, there are some committees that do not have, or only have one, non-voting member advisors. We are always looking for residents who are interested in participating in these various committees. Let me or the chairman know, and we would be happy to have you participate in the various committees. Okay?
May I speak?
Yes.
I also like to be in Maintenance and Construction Committee in GRF. Me and Pat.
You are on, for GRA, we only get 2 people, and so the chairmans are on there.
Change the 2 people.
No. For GRF, it's always just 2 people.
Yeah, but you can change the 2 people.
We
here.
can, but it's better, we can talk about this later, but
Okay.
normally what we do is we put the chairs of the united committees on the GRF committees.
Right.
Are we ready to vote? Okay, all in favor of approving the committees for the coming year at this time, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Hmm? 5 to 3, the motion passes. And those 3, please let us know in closed what your comments are. All right, we'll go down to committee reports. Jamie, the report of the Architectural Control and Standards Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, President. Architectural Control and Standard Committees met October the 24th. The staff and the committee have been working on the member guidelines for manner alteration handout information for required forms and information to start a mutual consent alteration process. That is, if you are going to do any kind of alterations on your unit, this pamphlet would be very, very handy. The handout is not completed yet, but it will be down in Property Services through the Permit Department. We approved the mutual consent variance request incomplete document list information form. So when you go to receive your permit, you're working on it, you turn your paperwork in, and if there's documents that are missing, this information form will be very informative to the member to give them the idea of the different information documents that are required for processing that permit. Please remember to check with the permit department in the community center if you're considering any type of upgrade to your unit. Our next meeting is November the 28th at 9:30, which is a conflict I noticed on our agenda. But the time I have is November 28th at 9:30. Concludes my report.
Thank you. The next committee is Communications Committee.
May I make a quick comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. No, we don't do it for reports, I'm sorry.
Well, but I waited till this was on the agenda to make a one-sentence
Maxine, you
comment.
know that report do not open up for member comments.
Just wanted to say thank you for putting the next date each time.
Maggie?
Let's see. Okay.
Too much paper.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We have been meeting almost, Thank you. For the Communications Committee, we have been meeting almost twice monthly, or sometimes 3 times monthly, in an effort to increase communications in the village. We have met 3 times this month on the breeze alone. We're working constantly to increase the features in the breeze, increase the amount of information put out in the breeze and on the website and in the emails. Every mutual is working on this, and GRF is working on it also. We're trying to take a little different flavor of giving out information more than ever before. Thank you.
Okay. Our next committee report is the executive hearings. We did not have them in October. And the next one, instead of November 28th, I will change that. It's December 7th. And we are combining the November and December hearings because of the holidays. First Thanksgiving and then Christmas. We usually meet on the 4th Thursday of the month, and that just happens to be holiday time. So it will be December 7th. Those are usually all-day meetings. We hear the compliance cases that are up for disciplinary action, and we also hear the requests for damage restoration from various residents. So that is not an open meeting. The next one is the Documents Review Committee. Sorry, just jumped right on down there. Let's get the Finance Committee. That's very important. Let's get our Finance Committee report.
Okay, slide 1. Total revenue for United through September the 30th, 2017 was $29,452,000 compared to expenses of $27,230,000, resulting in net revenue of $2,222,000. Slide 2, please. Okay, through September, United Mutual was better than budget by $3,022,000, primarily due to a late start and fewer expenditures of the reserve programs, including waistline replacements program, in which work started in late May, building structures and fewer replacements, countertops fewer replacements, and water lines, and the program was placed on hold by the board. Favorable variance in these programs was partially offset by an unfavorable variance in compensation and related expenses. Resolution 01-17-25 approved unbudgeted expenses of $375,000 in Landscape Department to complete the tree trimming cycle in 2017. All United scheduled tree work was completed by July, and staff anticipates minimal off-schedule tree work for the remainder of the year. Slide 3, please. On this pie chart, we show the non-assessment revenues received to date of $921,000 by category, starting with the largest revenue-generating category, interest income, followed by laundry revenue and resale processing fees. Slide 4, please. On this pie chart, we see expenses to date over $27 million, showing that our largest categories of expense are for compensation, property taxes, followed by utilities and outside services. Slide 5, please. Reserve balances on September 30th, 2017 were $22.6 million. Year-to-date contributions and interest to reserves were $9,195,000, while the year-to-date expenditures were $6,932,000. As far as the resales for United Mutual, in October, we had 29 resales for $7,898,500 as compared to 36 last year for $8,062,550. Even though our number of resales for this year went down, the increase in value per unit went up $48,000. $1,402 per unit sale. The delinquencies were up $9,000 from the previous month. And the next meeting for our committee will be November the 28th, 2017 at 2 p.m. in the Sycamore Room.
Thank you. All right, now, the Governing Documents Committee met on Monday, October 23rd. And some of the things that were looked at were the possible elimination of guarantors. There was a lot of discussion on this item, pro and con, and at the end, we asked staff to provide us with some statistics on how many units have guarantors, when they were accepted, and how many requests for guarantors occur every year. We don't want to make rules just for a couple of people. Review the financial requirements policy. This comes up on our December board as well. And we discussed various things, including should the minimum income requirement be changed from $36,000 to $45,000. We got a number of good research projects, and we'll have more that will be presented at the meeting coming up on what Orange County has determined is the median income and the low income for this area. The discussion was around the fact that Seal Beach Mutual Operations states that every member that is approved have reasonably good health for a person of his or her age, as evidenced by a letter from his or her medical doctor. So this shareholder can take care of normal living needs without calling on other members for undue amount of assistance. We looked at that, but nothing was done. Basically, the committee said it's true. Laguna Woods is not an assisted living or a skilled home nursing facility, and those have to be considered when we're looking at new members, because a lot of our members are seniors, and they have gotten to that point where living in their home for 20 or 30 years, they require assisted living and caretaker nursing facility. We also invited Director Tibbetts to the next meeting because he was the one that made the recommendation that our income requirements were too low for the economy today. We were presented with a resident log, which was very interesting, but really was too much information. It really was not what we were looking for. So we asked to get a log form from Resident Services with statistics, cumulative numbers only. And we invite Chris Barr from Resident Services Director to our next meeting to present that to us. Future agenda items, these are the ones that are coming up on our next meeting, and our next meeting of the governing docs will be November 27th, Monday. And we will be looking at a review of the updated resale documents, review and discuss current election guidelines, review communication piece for residents regarding trusts. This is a big thing within our mutual. I know it's also for Third. It's a big issue in the community. Trusts are not understood. We have one person in community services who basically is our trust person. He is completely overloaded. And he is not an attorney. He is asked to opine on many different areas of trusts, or people bring in a trust that does not conform to our rules and regulations prepared by their attorney and say, sign it. And that just can't be done. So what we have worked on with our attorney is guidelines regarding trusts, a checklist regarding trusts, and basically letting people know that we as United Mutual are not in the estate planning business. We're also going to look at the report from Resident Services and the guarantors and the minimum income retirement. So the next meeting is Monday, November 27th. We're up in the Sycamore Room. We invite any residents who are interested in these items to join us then. All right, the report from the traffic hearings. This is now Director Avakar.
Thank you, President. I am newly appointed on this committee, and I did not attend the last meeting on October 25th, but I have some notes that I would like to bring. First of all, it was approved in 2015 to consolidate the three boards into one on the traffic rules. Basically, separate hearings are no longer needed since uniform traffic rules and regulations have been adopted. A single committee consists of one director of GRF, one director of each of the mutuals will serve on the panel, and the new committee will be identified as Laguna Woods Village Traffic Hearing, and the members of the traffic hearing shall rotate as the presiding member and shall refrain from voting unless a member is absent and the vote of the presiding member is necessary to render majority. Director Gross has been leading the hearing to ensure consistency and fairness so far, so this will take some of the burden away from him. Basically, what will be involved is notice of violation, NOV, will be issued to violators, an option of paying the fine, attending the traffic school, and contesting the ticket will be offered. Admin coordinator Paul Yen, by phone, you can contact him if the driver would like to challenge the ticket. The violations desk coordinator, it coordinates a date, usually the third Wednesday of each month. And basically, our hearing is presiding member of the traffic hearing calls up the individual and explains the process. And the process is Laguna Woods Village traffic rules violations are not California Vehicle Code, but they are similar. Department of the Motor Vehicle is not notified, and insurance carrier is also not notified, but that doesn't mean the rules are not going to be enforced because we want a safe village and these rules will be enforced. The next meeting is scheduled tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the Sycamore Room, and unfortunately I'm not there. I'm going on my vacation for Thanksgiving, so I would request Reza, Director Reza, who just left for private business, I guess, to attend that meeting and bring us the results.
We will definitely have a substitute for you there.
Thank you.
Thank you. I might mention to all of our members that the traffic rules for the whole village are available on our website. They're a little bit different than DMV rules, although they match pretty well with the DMV rules. And so it's your responsibility to know what are the traffic rules within the village that you live in. And I think the biggest thing that we had, because I did sit in on the traffic hearings this last week, we have people who think because they drive in the village, they don't need a driver's license and they don't need registration. Everybody needs a driver's license and registration. And the other thing, of course, is that it's always the stops. We have a lot of rolling stops. We have people where there are a couple of cars in line. The first one stops, and the second and third say, well, I don't need to stop because the other one stopped. Everybody needs to stop, look both ways to make sure that we have a safe community. Thank you, Cash. Next, we have the Landscape Committee. Director Blackwell?
Okay. The Landscape Committee has its duties pursuant to Resolution 01-12-224 that we re-upped and reviewed and accepted January 25th of 17, and also all the features of the United Management Agreement with VMS. We are mindful of those in the Landscape Committee. This month, we met on October 11th, and Bruce Hartley was talking about his new ascension, I suppose, to landscape chair. He has 3 areas of emphasis going forward, focusing on addressing complaints, completing promises made, and looking at maintenance practices. Long-term plans are to fill vacancies. He is learning how supervisors operate and will focus staff back on customer service. The village has the same level of staffing throughout season changes. Bruce asked for patience while staff gets back on track. His goals are to build confidence with residents and improve customer service. All Saturday work ended in September. I have some very good news given to me by Brad. This is the ground maintenance report as of October 2017. Completed tickets by Mutual. United, 69% completed. Third, 31%. Grounds incomplete tickets. United has 24% incomplete. Third has 76% incomplete, in other words, not completed. The new ticket status by Mutual, United has 2% new tickets. Third has 98% new tickets. So you can see we are the blue and third is the red. So in response to the customer service calls and questions and complaints, United is hands and feet and toes above third, which is good but not good, you know. We wish they were all in the blue, right? Okay. And this is a picture of our graphic here for through October 2017, year-to-date total ground tickets by section. You can see the tallest ones are all United. The short ones are all third. I'm so sorry. And the ground tickets by Mutual again, United total ground tickets. Third has had many more ground tickets, requests and completions, whatever. United has second, of course. No, the total. United has this many ground tickets. Third has this many ground tickets, and yet we have this many. Good. So this is the total. So we are doing better and better and better as the year comes to a close, just as was predicted. And Bruce Hartley has a lot of experience, and he'll get the hang of the village, I'm sure. Thank you.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Thurge, you cannot have our landscape supervisor. We have the best, Mike Singlehom, and he's one of the reasons why we are so far ahead in our landscaping and what is being done. So, no, you can't have it. All right, next is our report from the Maintenance and Construction Committee. I'm sorry, do you have a comment?
One quick comment. I don't want to put, third is just as important to us as we are. So we shouldn't be putting one another down or even mention that kind of report because it is divisive. It's not uniting. That's my
Well, as United, we have
comment.
to look at what is being done in United, and that's what this report shows.
It will give them something to aim for.
Very good.
All right.
Question?
Yes.
I'm really glad that we start showing these dashboard charts, because these are the information that we can share with our residents, show them, you know, what kind of work we've been received, what kind of service we received, whether we are should be happy with our service or not. So we would like to see more of these dashboard information. And I understand some people are not familiar with that, but we'll educate you and help you understand, read these dashboard, and hopefully we'll understand how important our VMS staff is helping us. Thank you.
Andre, there's so many of our residents out there who have no idea what a dashboard is.
Right.
So we need to do an education process, we hope, in the breeze and some of the other things that we will be able to explain what the graphics and the statistics mean, because just saying this is the dashboard isn't going to help them.
I totally agree with you. It's, we need to start something somewhere. This is a good start.
Okay, next we have a report from the Maintenance and Construction Committee, and Steve Leonard is giving that this time.
Yes, in Don Tibbet's absence, I will give the report today. At our last meeting of October 25th, we discussed epoxy waistline remediation once again. We had a short discussion on some of our projects. We have actively about 20 active projects right now. The epoxy waistline is one of the most expensive programs that we have. It involves the installing of a seamless line within the existing waistline pipes. We discussed the possibility of speeding up the number of relinings that we're currently doing. Our budget for next year is $1.5 million for that program. We have an existing contract with a company called New Flow, which was signed last April, and they've completed 34 buildings for a total of 180 manors since April. New Flow is about at their maximum, but we've asked staff to investigate if we could advance that program and speed it up. Of course, that would have to have a serious conversation with the finance department as well, because it does revolve around reserve funds. The two biggest questions are, how big is the threat of failure and when? Do we spend additional funds to speed the program up? There was a discussion about walkway lighting. This is an ongoing conversation. It's probably been an ongoing conversation for 53 years. We've had some requests from residents for additional walkway lighting, and some of the requests were really not warranted. We tried different bollards with a little success, and we want to have a uniform program to help us decide where additional light is required. We're recommending to the board to hire a consultant to help us identify what our existing lighting is comprised of and what recommendations a consultant may have to improve our lighting throughout the community. Tankless hot water heaters were also discussed for the manors. We've determined that the tankless hot water heaters really are not feasible in our manors now because of the limited size of the electrical boxes inside the units themselves. And then at the outside of the building, all of those individual manor boxes tie in, the circuit breaker boxes tie into another larger box, and all that runs down to the transformers. So the cost of upgrading the internal boxes would require the external boxes to be upfitted as well, and the cost upgrade would be over $5,000 per manor. And then we'd have to get SCE to come in and increase the transformer size. So unfortunately, we thought that we might have been able to do that, but it does not appear to be practical. We also discussed copper pipe supply lines, and street signage will also be on the agenda for our next meeting. And we had one resident who came in, I spoke about this on this day a couple of weeks ago. We had one resident who came in who had been on vacation, and she had a water leak in her unit from a toilet supply line hose that had broken. And she opened her front door, and just water came streaming out of her unit. Fortunately, she had homeowners renters insurance, HO6. Here's an example of a leak. If you look at the screen, this is a plastic supply line, kind of a rubberized, and you can see that the fitment at the very top of that line is a white plastic piece, and it's leaking through there. Have another picture as well. Here's a braided line that actually burst. These are the kind of things that can happen. And the next picture is, you'll notice both of the ends on this water supply line are metal. And the last picture, you'll notice that the top connector is plastic. So we've asked staff to investigate which supply lines we have in stock, the source where we acquire them. Sometimes vendors change their manufacturing facilities. They may go from one country to another. So we've asked them to review that and also go out and get a cost on the better lines that are all metal and don't have any plastic. The important point here is it's very important, we think, that our shareholders and our residents take adequate precautions and investigate homeowners insurance. In this individual's case, the damage was $22,000. So they did have homeowners insurance, and they had a small deductible, and the insurance picked up the rest of the damage. So she was very fortunate in that regard. And that's it for M&C.
You don't have a picture of the little apparatus that we can get? The water sensor?
No, I didn't. I failed to put that up. I'll mention it, though. There are battery-operated water sensors. They are about yay high and maybe about the size of a quarter or maybe a $50. And they're available over at Home Depot, and they cost just a couple of dollars a piece. I believe the 4-pack is about $15. And you place them underneath your sinks, for example, in the kitchens and in the bathrooms, and you could set one next to a toilet on the floor, and even one where your hot water heater is if it's inside your unit. And it lasts for about 3 years, and if it gets wet, it makes a very high-pitched sound like your microwave does, and continues to make that sound so that you're alerted, even if you just have a small leak. Once you hear that sound, you may very well prevent a much larger leak. So that's something also that some of our residents might want to look into. Just right across the street at Home Depot. They're called little water alarms. They're self-contained.
I went and got some. They're in my unit. I'm giving them for Christmas presents this year because I think they are so neat.
Yeah.
And of course, the resident who had the big water damage, that probably wouldn't have helped because she was on vacation, she was gone. But it shows you even a little bitty leak, those drop, 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 over any length of time can cause major water damage. So the sooner we catch it, the better. And maybe if she'd had these in there, her neighbors would have heard the beep and called security to investigate. So I think these, just like we have our smoke detectors and CO2 connect, these water detectors are just really, really helpful. Last committee report is the Resident Advisory Committee, and I will report for Director Tibbetts. This is a very underused committee. Right now, it meets on the second Thursday of every month, usually the Thursday directly after our board meeting. Now, depending on how the calendar works, this month, it just so happened it was last week before our board meeting instead of after. It also is now up against the CAC committee. And so we are looking at moving this to another day. Stay tuned. We will announce it on the United Update. We'll have it in the paper and all of that kind of thing. But this is a committee for you, the residents. This is a chance to come in and talk to some of our board members, staff members, on whatever's bothering you. You don't have a 3-minute time limit. You can have a dialogue back and forth. There are other members there that also help to advise, what do I do now? How do I do this? Whatever. So instead of just talking among yourselves and maybe not having the correct facts or not knowing what's really going on, once a month, come to this committee, because that's what it's for, is for you, our residents, to express whatever's on your mind. And as I say, keep watch, because it will be on a different day. We don't want to be up against CAC. There are some dual members there. All right, let's go. Yes.
For those people who are not familiar with this Resident Service Advisory Committee, there is a Resident Service business card that you can request and report any issues. So if anyone is looking for that kind of information, they can either go to Lori Moss and get the resident service information, or come to me. I have a lot of those information, business card to give out. We're trying to do everything to make your life here more comfortable and help you resolve all the issues. So take advantage of these opportunities, and also come to the resident advisory committees. If the issues cannot be resolved, then bring it over and we'll help you see through it, making sure we either explain to you what are the alternatives available or help you resolve the issue. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Andre. He is on that committee. All right, let's look at number 15, which is our GRF highlights. The Community Activities Committee, Director Drell.
I like to give this report because what I do is I give out the good, fun things that happen in our community. So the Recreation and Special Events Department report that they have given me is for the upcoming special events. We're looking at a Thanksgiving buffet, Clubhouse 2 and 5. They're having it in both clubhouses, Thursday, November the 23rd. The tickets are on sale now, and the cost of tickets, adults $23, children $11.50, and 5 and under are free. Gee whiz, we missed out on that. The annual volunteer luncheon is Clubhouse 5, Friday, December the 1st. Invitation flyers are out for the volunteers. Holiday Festival, Clubhouse 2, which will be Saturday, December the 2nd. Santa, Arts and Crafts, Carolers, Girl Scouts, Fire Station 22 has a toy drive, so be sure and bring your donated toys. There's going to be our tree lighting ceremony, and the event includes hot chocolate, coffee and cookies. The holiday buffet is going to be held at Clubhouse 5, Monday, December the 25th. Tickets are on sale starting December the 4th. New Year's Eve Gala, Clubhouse 5, is Wednesday, December the 31st. Dinner and dancing to Close Enough is the band, and the tickets are on sale as of December the 5th. New Year's Eve with Papa Do Run Run. That is a band. At the Performing Arts Center, Wednesday, December 31st. On sale now, what they say is the tickets. It's $20, starts at 6 p.m. That's one show. The second show is $30 at 8:30, includes appetizers and champagne. So there are some good activities out there in the community. Hope everybody enjoys. That concludes my report.
Okay. Thank you. I might mention, just for fun, the volunteer luncheon is a wonderful example of the volunteerism that we have in this community. It's usually over 500 people. You really don't know, and it will be covered, I'm sure, by the Globe with pictures, et cetera, how many volunteers we have in this community. They're the ones that make our community run. Not just board members. Yes, we're volunteers, but of course, my love is the library. We have 82 volunteers, that no paid people at the library. There are volunteers at every clubhouse. There are volunteers in the drop-in lounge. There are volunteers that do many, many things throughout this community. So there's never any lack of things to do, and we certainly appreciate those volunteers. It's great when we get them all together for one day. Finance Committee, Director Morrison.
Okay, I think the major thing was the completion of the 2018 budget, and what was really done there was a study of all of the shared costs And what the group tried to do was to work out what was fair for all of the different room rates, the golf charges, the RV lot. Not everyone was happy, but I think everyone now is kind of laid back with it. But the last thing that happened, or the big change, was the change in golf rates. And what we had originally set up was that there would be a smaller increase for the everyday golfer, and the lessee charges were going to be a little bit higher. And so what they did, they backed off of that, and now everybody is the same. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. You want to say when the next meeting is?
Oh, I'm sorry. Next meeting will be December the 20th, 2017, 1:30 p.m. in the boardroom.
Thank you. All right, Landscape Committee, Maggie?
Okay, the Landscape Committee did not meet in October. It was supposed to meet tomorrow, but that meeting has been unscheduled. I'll tell you that the most news that we have for GRF Landscape is that the waiting list for the garden plots will give preference to member owners because it is a controlled and limited property, and there are only so many spots. So they will be giving preference on the waiting list. All those who have plots will remain the same, but for the future, that will be different. So I do not know when the next meeting is, as tomorrow's is canceled. The United is December 14th. United Landscaping. Okay, thank you.
Okay. It's my understanding that the GRF Landscape Committee is being reformed a little bit, new chairs, et cetera, and that's probably will not meet until February. They said 3 months. Okay.
Point of information, did you say that there is no meeting tomorrow?
No meeting tomorrow for the Landscape Committee.
Right.
No. All right, Director Leonard, the Maintenance and Construction Committee, GRF.
I was not present, so I can't really make any statements. The next meeting is this week on November 15th, so I will be in attendance there now that I'm assigned to that committee.
Okay, thank you.
And your picture.
The report of the Media and Communication Committee, Director Blackwell.
I believe I said it all in the other one. We are meeting constantly. The Breeze is growing hand over fist in popularity, and that's good. We are putting ads now in other television stations where necessary for announcements that will be important to the entire community. Also increasing email ads. Thank you.
Okay. I might also mention, for those of you that are interested, because Media and Communications is both Wi-Fi, which is what we covered at the last town hall, and cable services, that if you are interested, there is a meeting tonight. It's put on by the PC Club. It's at 7 o'clock in Clubhouse 7, and all they're going to discuss tonight is the cable television. As we have, Brad has announced, as we know, analog TV is going away in 2018. So those of you that still have the big old analog TVs with the tubes in it, not the flat screen digital TVs, really need to know the schedule on that and how that's going to be and why and that kind of thing. So if you're interested in things about our broadband cable services, a good thing is the PC Club tonight. Mobility and Vehicle Committee, Director Trong.
Yes. the mobility meeting, GRF mobility meeting on October 2nd, Monday, to discuss issues, the monthly transportation issue. As we can see from this chart here, that seems like for the 2017, the bus information meeting, the highest attendance will be in the January, and this gradually slowing down a little bit. And August this year has only 11. So we will highly recommend people, if you have any issues, concerns, and questions about bus, please go to the meeting. And also, we have a transportation awareness meeting recently. I have the
This Friday.
flyer. Yeah, I have a flyer on the table there. Everybody should attend it if you have any needs for that. For the caregivers, they are highly recommend to go there because they can help the residents. And for the children of parents of those parents that need this kind of help, this will be a great opportunity for you to communicate and understand how your parents can really take advantage of the system. And also for the bus information meeting annual attendance to date, we can see that in year 2013, we have the highest attendance, and then gradually slowing down. This year, it's about 175, which is still very good. And also, this ridership per month, we can see that we are, in August, we have a pretty high, starting from March through August, we have pretty high ridership, which is a good information for us. That's the concluded report I have.
Okay, thank you. Again, at the transportation awareness, it'll be not just the bus schedules. They're going to talk about the excursions. The excursion buses are so popular now, and they have a lot of those registered or anticipated for now to the end of the year.
Oh, sorry. You talk about excursion, and we desperately need foreign language speakers helping out, volunteers help out, particularly in Chinese, Korean, Farsi languages. Those people are highly sought after. That if you can help out, please help out. I attend some of the trips recently, and it was just a wonderful experience. Everybody loves it to go to Laguna Hills Mall and go to places like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andre. All right, last but not least, we have the Security and Community Access Committee, Director Akakar.
Thank you, President. The meeting held October 26th in the boardroom with Tom Circle as the chair. He commented the good work Chief Moy and his team are doing on the disaster preparedness for the village. Villagers showed considerable interest against the idea of combining Gate 10 and 11, even though it's still in the planning stages and very early. A mention was made stating that the cost operating a gate is in the realm of about $200,000 per year. But again, to Director Parker, Blackwell, McIntosh, and Parsons attending the meeting clarified that these discussions are very preliminary and may not even materialize. Chief Moy briefed on the Cal shakeout and simulated 6.5 earthquake drill setup at the Emergency Operations Center. Also mentioned that people in the village are getting scam IRS calls and that villagers should not entertain these. Kathleen mentioned on the 405 freeway air crash recovery effort were quick and efficient as the entire crew was well prepared for disasters such as these, and that's a recommendation well taken, and we need our disaster preparedness in place. Also mentioned were RV compliance issues and tightening of contractor passes. Our security team under Chief Moy is doing excellent work to bring compliance to various issues. The next Security and Community Access meeting is scheduled December 21 at 1:30 p.m. in the boardroom. That concludes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're down to future agenda items, and as I said, I want to talk about these a little bit more because I want all our residents to know this is what we are going to talk about at the December meeting, make final decisions on at the December meeting, and in between now and then, if you have comments, please get them to the board.
Madam President, it's actually the January meeting, because there wasn't 30 days between the October meeting and the December meeting. I mean, the November meeting and the December meeting. Because you met.
That's right, but that's why we brought these up in October, and we couldn't do them at this meeting because there wasn't 30 days, and they had to go to December. But the 30 days will be satisfied at the
You're right.
December
I'm
meeting.
sorry. I'm off a month.
Yeah, it's really hard when there's 29 days in a month, and we have to push everything out to another month. So we're going to look at adopting a resolution to approve the proposed fee schedule for manor alterations. And we're going to look at adopting a resolution to approve the requirement of a conformance deposit for manor alterations. We're going to look to adopt a resolution to approve a policy for handling and destruction of recordings for the executive and committee meetings. We're going to look at adopting a resolution to approve revisions to our mutual standard windows and window alterations standard. We have a lot of standards. They need to be updated. The more we can have as a standard and not have to go through the whole alteration committee process is a benefit to our residents. And lastly, we're going to look at adopting the amended financial qualification policy. This is not what I talked about under governing documents. This is not an increase in the minimum income. These are other things that have to do with the number of guarantors or number of units a guarantor can do, and just some basic there. I can't remember all of them that are on there, but this is not that. It's a different thing. All right, we're at director's comments, and I'll start over here this time. Manuel?
I have no comments, thank you.
Okay. Cash?
I do want to promote something here so I can talk about, at Laguna Woods, we have an amazing natural resource of gifted and talented but retired people, many with ideas that they have thought about, but never had the opportunity to develop. And we're talking about, with the help of our management, to locate a room and we are starting a foundation, if we find the room, and get our retired minds to get together and build some teams of expertise in one room, and then use that as a resource to develop ideas into products, because a lot of steps are required people don't know about. Also to use this service for outside companies if they want to use our resources for a fee, and bring that money to the foundation for the enhancing the lives of Laguna Woods residents, because the excess will be donated to them. And there's pretty good interest shown by the management so far, but it's still too early to talk about. But it'll be called National Inventors Foundation, and we want people to come forward with whatever talents they have and see if we can help each other, enlighten each other, and enlighten our lives. Thank you.
Andre?
I just want to let all the residents know that I'm here to speak to you and speak for you. I have my business card right in front. And if you have anything that you want to contact me, please pick up the card and give me a call or send me an email. And I will definitely, but please don't take me as the first one to talk to. The first one you talk to should always be in resident services. And if they cannot finish to your satisfaction, then I'm your next defense and helping you out. And also there are various venues. You can go to the committee discussion about your issues, or you can go to residents advisory. Those are the places that can help you out. There are many venues, and the board is usually the last one when you cannot resolve the issue. Thank you.
Pat?
No comment.
Janie?
I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and don't eat too much turkey.
Maggie?
No comment.
Gary?
I heard a rumor that Lori was so upset about having to move that she has agreed to helicopter in every day to help out.
No comment.
The United providing the transportation.
Steve?
You asked about the pictures of the little water leak detectors. I downloaded them, and they're going to come up on the screen here in just a moment. So this is what an individual alarm looks like. It's very small. It's only a few inches tall. And then here's a 4-pack. So
if you go in, ask for the Honeywell water leak alarm.
Right.
And remember to lift them off the floor when you're mopping the floor.
And
Mopping the floor, what is that?
And only Steve could find them.
I'd also like to wish everyone a happy National Pickle Day. And if pickles aren't your pleasure, then it's also National Spicy Guacamole Day.
That covers just about everybody. All right, I'd like to remind everybody that every Friday morning, noon and evening, on this day on VMS, we have the United Mutual Update. So in between meetings, every week, we have an update of what's going on. The various committee chairs come and talk about what their committee did. I report on what the board did, and because I don't think many of you are going to stay around for the reconvening of the open session after our closed session, whenever that is this afternoon, I will be reporting on that Friday morning on VMS. Channel 6, 6.1, 406, whatever it is on your TV this day. But that's a good way to keep up weekly on what's going on in United. Okay, if there are no more comments, I will recess this to our closed meeting, and we will reconvene after that. Thank you.